I think challenge number one is encouragement and let them know they can be successful, because if they've had all that yo-yoing, they feel like it's hopeless. They feel like nothing's going to work for them, and they may come up with a negative attitude. So trying to help them successfully lose weight, but to also learn from mistakes in the past that caused the yo-yoing. But then that also circles back to the accountability of, okay, let's touch base. Let's check in, make sure you're doing okay. I had a patient who had an appointment once, and she said, she came in, she goes, well, I knew my appointment was this week, so I got my act together. I'm like, oh, that means you got derailed. That means you got off of your program and decided to get back on to, quote, please me when you came in. But again, that's why the accountability is there. It's like, hey, if something's going on, let's deal with it live. Let's deal with this problem now to learn from that so it doesn't keep happening. But if you don't have the accountability, you don't have that opportunity to learn. And then you get discouraged and you feel like things are hopeless and helpless. And then, that's not good for anybody. Learning healthier ways to deal with the stress. One of the counseling sessions we talk about is emotional eating in general, that we tend to eat if we're happy, sad, bored, or depressed, and recognizing the effect that emotions have on us. And a lot of that emotional eating, I blame on our parents, actually. And I say, when you're a child and you hurt yourself, you scraped your knee, what your parents do? And they give you a sucker or a lollipop, or they give you something to put in your mouth, because the mouth is a very soothing part of our body. It's like we're looking for some kind of oral gratification. And it's almost like we're looking to nurse. We're looking for that comfort of being held, something in our mouth, nursing, but obviously we can't do that as grownups, but we tend to put other things in our mouth. So kids put their gum in their mouth. They put a cigarette in their mouth. They put food in their mouth. There's all this stuff we put in our mouth to deal with our emotions. So recognizing why we're putting something in our mouth, and then identifying that, and then figuring out another way of dealing with that. And so that's part of what I discuss with patients during counseling. But stress eating, recognize, what is that stress? Laughter is a wonderful way of dealing with stress, and I'll sit there and say, go have a pillow fight with someone. And people, they chuckle when I say that because it sounds funny, but it's a great way of dealing with stress, that laughter, getting out and exercising. And then, sometimes stress can affect the cortisol level, and cortisol is a stress hormone. And if the cortisol is too high, that can make it challenging to lose weight. So then we often check cortisol throughout the day, not just one spot in the morning, because that doesn't give us a real picture, but we check it throughout the day and then find ways of trying to naturally lower the cortisol, which can also help with stress. So we can eat for emotional reasons, recognizing those, figuring out other ways of dealing with that, making sure our stress hormone is okay. And then we actually have some supplements that can help with stress eating as well. And some of the anti-obesity medicines can help with that too. But again, it gets back to behavior modification.